Streaming on clickorlando.com. You're watching News 6 at 10.
I found out and I was like, dang, this is actually pretty sad.
Now on News 6, high schoolers react after two fellow students are taken away in handcuffs. Why detectives say their plot was not a fake and how it was stopped. And it's a mystery that stretches back 2 decades tomorrow. What happened to Jennifer Kessie, just 24 years old, when she vanished?
To be around investigators who are extremely intimate with every nuance of the case, for them to be a little bit upbeat, that's encouraging.
Why her parents are retesting evidence 20 years later.
Imagine this on your daily drive. We're learning weeks after these speed tables showed up in Seminole County, they're now being removed. And we're following up to find out why.
Now at 10 tonight.
ICE, ICE, go away. Immigrants are here to stay.
Hundreds turn out for the latest anti-ICE protest in Central Florida, hours after another protester was taken into custody. Good evening, I'm Matt Austin. Ginger has the night off. Both of the latest major protests took place in downtown Orlando. We actually saw a video of a woman being detained earlier this afternoon. She was held by one person, was detained earlier today by Orange County deputies outside the ICE field office. We just learned she is 23-year-old Alexis Clark. Sheriff John Mina says she hit a law enforcement vehicle. But he also pointed out that these major protests were peaceful, mostly, including the latest one tonight outside Orlando City Hall. Your community correspondent, Troy Campbell, is there.
Hundreds of people showed up here outside City Hall on Friday night, some using chalk to write messages such as melt the ice and we are all human. They say their message is clear. They're against all ICE activity in Central Florida.
Trump said he was only going after violent criminals.
Nancy Rutner from Castleberry showed up to protest ICE outside Orlando City Hall Friday because she says the agency isn't just targeting violent criminals.
There aren't that many bad guys. They're going after the people who live here, who've been part of our community.
No fear, no hate, no ICE in our state.
Several hundred people chanted and held signs.
ICE does not belong in Orlando.
Izzy Coventry with Orlando Socialist Alternative says the group wants to send a message. They stand in solidarity with the people of Minnesota.
They're having a day of no working, no school, and no shopping. And we want to show them that Orlando stands with Minneapolis, as well as showing ICE that they are not welcome in Orlando.
She adds she's concerned ICE has ramped up their activities in Central Florida.
They've been spotted in Altamont, they've been spotted in Winter Park, they've been spotted around UCF. So they're crawling around, and it's only a matter of time before they really start clamping down.
Earlier in the day, a group gathered outside the Orlando ICE office to protest. However, this video shows the aftermath after the Orange County Sheriff's Office says it arrested 23-year-old Alexis Clark after she struck a federal officer's vehicle, charging her with assault on an officer and resisting arrest. State Representative Anna Escamani says people need to put pressure on their lawmakers.
We have to push back against it and make sure local government's not working with ICE and make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep our community safe.
And the group who organized Friday night's event says there are some more protests that will be scheduled in the future. And again, they say their goal is to always keep them peaceful. Outside City Hall, Troy Campbell, News 6.
The indigenous people are. Well, another top story, a school scare that police say wasn't a hoax. Officers walked 2 students out of class in handcuffs. They're charged with premeditated attempted murder. Police say they plan to attack another student at Lake Brantley High. News 6's Ashley Garrett is at the school with the threat and how the campus is reacting.
In Seminole County, 2 students arrested and charged is gaining some new reaction in Altamont Springs. And I've actually been in talks with Madeline Segarra. She's a sophomore here at Lake Brantley High School and also a member of the student government here. She says when I asked her how she was feeling about the news of Friday and also safety overall at the school, she says overall she's starting to become desensitized. She referenced the school threat that happened weeks ago at this same school. You might remember police declared that incident to be unspecified. She also says it's not that the school isn't trying to do its part to keep the school safe. She says they're carrying out school safety practices on a weekly basis, but things like what happened a couple weeks ago, in her words, are still starting to fall through the cracks. But I'll walk you through today's case. It's a really big talker today. When it comes to today's case, the names and ages of the students involved haven't been released. Police say they got a tip about the 2 students now charged having plans to hurt a 3rd student. Police say upon getting that tip, they searched those 2 suspects. We're learning a knife and a note were found in a backpack on one of those suspects. But let's hear from Madeline now. She tells us what else is being said on campus.
I just know that there was 2 girls involved. One girl had the knife and the note, and then the other girl was called out of class because her name was mentioned, I guess, by the first girl. But yeah, 2 girls already counted with the charge.
And of course, we at News 6 are working to confirm those details with police. Madeline also shares, though, how word on campus began to spread.
My friend sent me a news article about it, and I was like, I actually found out about this because I didn't want to spread it, especially towards the end of the day with everything that happened recently. I found out and I was like, dang, this is actually pretty sad and everything. But yeah, no, with my role in the school, I find out about stuff pretty quick.
Here's what else is new. It's a statement actually coming from Seminole County Schools, and it reads, "We are deeply grateful to the individual whose courageous tip allowed law enforcement to take swift action. The situation was resolved safely thanks to the seamless collaboration between our school and law enforcement partners," end quote. And we also wanted to note that we're definitely going to be staying on top of the story and bring you new updates as they become available, because police do say even though there's been arrests and charges in Friday's case, this case is still open and active. In Altamont Springs, Ashley Garrett, News 6.
New at 10 tonight, a judge has thrown out a lawsuit by a former Orlando Commissioner, Regina Hill, seeking to throw out last November's election results. Earlier this month, we told you Hill was suing, claiming current Commissioner Shan Rose was basically bribing voters with gift cards and health screenings. After a recent hearing in the case, Hill told News 6's Mike Valenti she was just seeking free and fair elections. She accused Rose of ballot harvesting, which means collecting absentee ballots illegally. But in today's ruling, Chief Judge Lisa Munyon found no proof of wrongdoing. She writes, quote, "There's simply no factual basis to suggest illegal votes of any kind," adding, quote, "In fact, plaintiff fails to explain how, even if illegal ballot harvesting did occur, that these votes would be illegal." Rose won her first full term last November with a 52% majority. Hill was second with 33%. Luana Gelzer came in third. No comment tonight yet from Regina Hill. A former police officer now accused of being a drug dealer. Investigators say they arrested 40-year-old Amber Williamson and 28-year-old Marcus Plowden. The Volusia sheriff says he hired Williamson in 2009 as a Daytona Beach police officer. The sheriff said she worked there for 10 years, and she was most recently a teacher at Richard Milburn Academy. Deputies say an investigation revealed she was selling drugs. They say they found trafficking amounts of fentanyl in the apartment she shares with Plowden. The sheriff shared this video showing the moments they arrested her.
Amber, you know the good guys always win, don't you?
Jail this afternoon. We have an update for you on some speed tables now, slowing drivers in Seminole County and also causing this problem here. We've seen cars flying over these things on Celery Avenue since they were put there late last year. Complaints have been adding up, and now we're following up after you noticed the speed tables are now being taken out. Your Seminole County community correspondent, Catherine Silver, found out why.
We showed you the problem as it happened live on News 6.
Oh, there's one right now.
Speed tables meant to slow drivers down were also sending some of them airborne. This was 6 weeks ago when we first visited Celery Avenue after hearing your complaints. We're on our way back today because we heard these speed tables are now being removed. Look at the difference at Celery and Brisson. The same drive in December looked like this. A rough ride, but now it's smooth. Did you hear they're going to remove them?
I did, and I'm a little upset about it. All that money just gone to waste.
We asked the county what happened, and they explained in a statement. They've been listening to your feedback. A team has been evaluating this issue, and they found that the raised crosswalks were not, quote, performing as intended. Apparently, they were designed to traffic standards, but when they were put in, they weren't built to that same specification, which is why one has been taken out already. I'm told work on this one here at Celery Key should start this weekend, and there's a third on Mellonville.
People were flying over there like it was a roller coaster or something.
People we met Friday who drive this street every day didn't have a problem with the speed tables themselves, despite the height. They did say speeding is a problem in this area.
My kids were going to school and we had people speeding up and down in there.
The bus stops there, and there's a lot of people that go by the red flashing lights and don't stop.
You're probably wondering what is being done about speeders here if these raised crosswalks are being removed. I'm told that Seminole County and the city of Sanford have been evaluating this project, which is part of bigger plans to connect the Riverwalk to State Road 415. The city of Sanford has already lowered the speed limit here to 35. In Seminole County, I'm Catherine Silver, News 6.
Well, when you hear great catch, you probably are thinking of football or baseball, but not in the Panhandle. A great white catch left a pair of fishermen reeling. What it took to land this 1,000-pound shark and what happened next. Jonathan.
It is nice and warm outside. Temperatures back to the 50s and 60s across the board. Near record warmth coming by the end of the weekend before we take the polar plunge. Once again, we're going to have your forecast coming up about 10:19.
January 24th marks 20 years since Jennifer Kessie vanished from her Orlando home. 2 decades later, her parents are hoping technology will make the difference.
Between DNA and AI, there's incredible hope right now to just crack the case.
A mystery decades in the making. I'm investigator Louis Bold, and I'll have the story coming up.
You're watching News 6 at 10 on a Friday night. We're covering Tavares, the Villages, and all of Central Florida. This portion of the news is sponsored by Central Florida Honda Dealers. Well, now on News 6, one of Central Florida's oldest mysteries. Tomorrow marks 20 years since Jennifer Kessie vanished from her Orlando home. She was a 24-year-old UCF grad and a young professional who lived in a brand new condo complex at the mall at Millennia at the time. News 6 investigator Louis Bolden covered the story when it happened, and he's still following that investigation 2 decades later.
24-year-old Jennifer Kessie lived here at Mosaic at Millennia condominiums. 20 years ago, her parents sounded the alarm when they got a call from her job saying she never showed up for work. Can you guys try to describe what the last 2 decades have been like for you?
Just emotionally and mentally exhausting to have our daughter, our family of 4, be a family of 3 without a resolution.
Kessie worked for Westgate Resorts, which was owned by timeshare mogul David Siegel, who died in 2025. In 2007, he put up a $1 million reward for Kessie's safe return.
David said, no, it's got to be something really big, because if they have her still, it's got to be something meaningful.
The reward came and went, and still no answers. What would you say were the biggest developments in the case?
Well, first, it would have to be finding Jennifer's car.
Just days after police say she was abducted from her condo, Orlando police located Kessie's car, a black 2004 Chevy Malibu. They found it 1 mile from her condo at Huntington on the Green condominiums. Decades later, the Kessie say investigators are now retesting all of the DNA found in the car.
Two hairs that never hit any data bank, but they did find two pieces of evidence that were never tested. I believe it was two pieces.
Another big development, a surveillance camera captured the person who was driving her car, but the video was always grainy. Now the Kessies are hoping 20 years later, technology will change that.
Basically, AI, we're truly hoping that AI does something with the picture of the person who parks Jennifer's car. Between DNA and AI, there's incredible hope right now to just crack the case.
After years of organizing their own searches and asking for the public's help, the couple sued the Orlando Police Department for the case file. It has been with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement now for the past 3 years. The Kessies say having new eyes on the case is bringing new hope.
They truly believe they're going to
solve
the case.
To be around investigators who are extremely intimate with every nuance of the case, for them to be a little bit upbeat, and that's encouraging.
Yeah.
Lewis Bolden, News 6.
Hope they get some answers soon. Well, while we are basking in some midwinter warmth, much of the nation is coping with cold, snow, and ice. Take a look at a trooper in Ohio who spotted two separate crashes at an intersection where he parked in the median while he was handling another crash. The semi whose rig slipped wasn't hurt. 4 people in the more serious-looking SUV crash were treated. They're okay. With another Arctic blast sweeping in, some power crews from Orange County are moving out to help. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez was there.
OUC crews packed up their equipment in their trucks, hopped in, and made their way to South Carolina. I'm Stephanie Rodriguez reporting in Orlando. 17 crews are making their way there to help with winter storm recovery.
When we get the lights on, the customers are clapping and happy. It's very rewarding.
Orlando Utilities Commission linemen are ready to help restore power to people set to experience the heavy winter storm in South Carolina. On Friday, 17 crews left Orlando to make the 500-mile journey. They will support Santee Cooper, the state's largest power provider, as they prepare for widespread outages, downed trees, and power lines.
So like some customers, it's just your house, right? With a family that they're in the dark, they want their lights on, but you also have your hospitals. You have your grocery stores. You have a lot of places that need that power to help serve the community. So it is a high importance that we actually get out there from around the country, the surrounding area, to help restore this power.
There's no timeline for when they might return. OUC crews plan to be out there as long as they have to help with the recovery efforts. Reporting in Orlando, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Well, fishermen are always after the big one. It doesn't get much bigger than some in the Panhandle. These guys reeled in a shark, not a bull shark, not a hammerhead. They actually hooked a great white. The group was fishing for sharks for 48 hours straight in Pensacola Beach before catching that big one. They estimate it was 12 to 13 feet long. Could have weighed around 1,000 pounds.
Pensacola, Florida, great white shark, let's go!
I don't even think that they even registered kind of what happened until probably the next day, and even a couple of them were like, I still don't. We caught a great white, and it was pretty special.
What a story to tell. They say it took just under an hour to get that shark on the beach, where they took a couple of pictures and then sent the shark back into the Gulf. All right, time now to check in with meteorologist Jonathan Kagas. How about that for a fish story, man?
Yeah, I haven't seen deep blue sea, and they thinking just go around and just yank you right back under. That's a little too close for comfort, for sure. Where it's not comfortable, it's the upper Midwest, Northern Plains. It is 13 degrees below zero right now in Bismarck, 12 below in Minneapolis and Sioux Falls. We are nice and comfy in Central Florida, mid to upper 60s. In South Florida, it's in the mid 70s. It gets even warmer from this point on by Sunday, the second half of your weekend. We're talking about records, potential records anyway. 86 is our forecast. The record is 86 in Orlando. We're back to record territory in Melbourne, Sanford, and Leesburg as well. Everybody getting into the middle 80s out ahead of this. Of course, we told you last week that this week we would likely see this winter storm steal national headlines, and it is doing just that. It is in the materializing stages as we speak. It is going to really ramp up over the weekend and spread ice there in pink, and then the blue there representing the heavy snow that crosses the northern tier of the country over the next couple of days. That's Sunday morning, 7 o'clock. For us, we're going to be focused on the cold front portion of this, and while there could be some strong thunderstorms from the Big Bend back to the Panhandle, by the time the front gets here, that's 5 o'clock on Sunday, by the way, we're going to be watching those scattered downpours really start to weaken out. So there will be the opportunity for a little bit of rain early on Monday, but certainly nothing like what parts of the Deep South are going to see in terms of the stronger thunderstorm potential. Behind that front, though, we will see temperatures drop during the day on Monday back to this. So there is the chill coming back, just not this weekend. While everybody else across the country is dealing with the snow and the ice. We're back to the upper 20s in Ocala. Sanford, we're at 35, 37 in Orlando. So it is going to get cold again on the other side of the weekend. I think the cold's here to stay, too. We're fast forwarding to the January 27th. That's going to be on Tuesday. All of the pink representing significantly below normal temperatures. I'm talking 20 to 25 degrees below normal. This is Saturday, and you see the entire eastern two-thirds of the country way below normal. And that's next Saturday. So we're continuing to keep this extended stretch of below normal temperatures all the way through likely the first part of February. We could have air that rivals the coldest of the season that we've just had, again, about 10 days ago now. Could even be colder than that once we get to flip the page into February. We're at 77 in Mount Dora. We're at 80 degrees tomorrow in Orlando. There are the ups and downs coming way up on Sunday, then starting to go back down on Monday. There's that very cold morning. Really, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we're all waking up in the 20s and 30s. Temperatures for highs in the 50s and 60s starting on Tuesday. We'll be right back.
So millions pass through Port Canaveral, but for the last several years, no one's been able to enjoy the Exploration Tower. 2 years ago, I reported how the port, to cut its losses maintaining the building, was looking to rent it out. The tower opened in 2013 as part welcome center to the port, part museum and event space, and my favorite part, the 7th floor observation deck. The Space Force's historical foundation looked like it could be the new tenant and would keep a lot of those features. However, more than a year after those plans, you can see nothing's changed. How's it made you feel not to have it open for all
It
these
seems
years?
kind of maybe a waste of money, you know.
I got curious how locals feel about the port's tallest building still being empty. Some of the only people you find around the tower these days are bike riders like Walter Schumann.
The locals seem like, what's the point of it, you know?
Walter and Terry Zittel still think the tower's got potential.
Seems to me like businesses would do all right. What do you think? Restaurants, maybe?
I thought at the top there could be a rooftop bar.
Yeah, something.
Most of my neighbors say it looks like a finger or it looks kind of stupid, but I wish it could be better. It's pretty at night. The lights are great.
I got to believe that they're doing a lot of research and trying to figure it out.
And I asked the port and the Space Foundation for an update to the tower's future. The tower initially closed due to maintenance, but the port tells me now it's in good shape and it remains available for lease. Our reporting will continue on clickorlando.com whenever we hear someone might finally move in. In Brevard County, I'm your Cape Canaveral community correspondent, James Sparvera, News 6.
You can find all of tonight's stories plus breaking news on News 6 Plus. It's free to download to that smart TV or streaming device. Have a great night.